I'm Peter Hyson, and in this video, as traffic once more disappears from our streets, I'll be looking at highways and cul-de-sacs and the road ahead. Our featured guest is FT writer and finance expert Jason Butler, and as I used to say in our tea break retreats, sit back, relax, grab cake and coffee, and let's get started. Here's part of my conversation with Jason. And remember, you can find the full interview on our website. You talk about those sorts of things that drive you. And I know, as I said earlier, that you've had a portfolio of careers. So you also write and talk about coming into a number of cul-de-sacs. Tell us a little bit about the cul-de-sacs.
Yeah, the way I describe it, and again, I talk about this in my new book, The Money Miracle, that's coming out next year. And I talk about the fact that a cul-de-sac means that it may well have been a highway at one stage, okay? In other words, you were passing through it and you were enjoying it and it was really working for you at that stage. But what happens is that whilst we can look back and see that we've changed, we don't always anticipate that we're going to change in the future. And so our life is in a constant state of flux, and our reaction to life and what's going on around us are all moving, a bit like a complicated thing in the universe. And so cul-de-sacs, the way I describe it, is someone has closed up the road. It's no longer a throughway. And you are driving around that sort of Brookside loop of all the houses, the 6 houses, and you're just driving around and around. You're actually not going anywhere. And for some people, it's okay to be in the cul-de-sac for a bit. But I got to a stage in my life, in fact, at several stages, but the biggest one was 5 years ago, which I think you know about, Peter, when I just got to the stage when the wealth management business that I was working in, which I started 17 years before, and I had 25 years as a financial advisor as a career, started to dominate my life in the sense that I felt that I was in that cul-de-sac and that it wasn't adding to my life, and I was no longer enjoying it, even if I then lied to myself or didn't want to admit it, because the money was good and the status had been, the whole thing of running that business and being that person was so imbued in my personality and my image and my identity that I actually thought it was more comfortable to stay in the cul-de-sac driving around, even though they closed off the road. That was an easy route. And for many people, they stay in the cul-de-sac, and I'm not judging them, but that cul-de-sac is where you cease to be growing in that role. You've outgrown that role. The role has outgrown you. You are now in not just a comfort zone, you're actually in your little hidey hole, and you're actually not a comfort zone. You've basically gone back into the fetal position. You've got your little, you got your onesie on, and the world can wait. And that's the sort of metaphor that I give, is that I'd got into the cul-de-sac and I was not sure. I kept missing the exit to get back out and find another highway.
As we move into our time for reflection, I should perhaps warn you that this time there will be pauses between each of the questions. So there are 4 questions that will take up the next 5 minutes or so of this time of reflection. If you do need to, please do fast forward, but I do encourage you either to take the time now or to make sure you come back and deal with those questions later on. Jason talks about our cul-de-sacs perhaps once having been busy highways. Does that match with your experience? Secondly, what cul-de-sacs might you currently be circling in? question 3. When, for you, might a cul de sac comfort zone move over into becoming a hidey hole, with or without your onesie? Finally, what are the dangers when your identity is tied up with or being dependent on what you do rather than who you are? And what do you propose to do about it? This is the first of our on-purpose retreats. In future reflections, we'll be thinking about the difference between your retirement speech and your legacy, putting your feet up and being a guru's mate, and talking to someone whose life was shattered when they realised, in my heart of hearts, I know I'm set. I'm stuck. I'm an old dog with non-transferable tricks. You can find the full guest interview on our website at nextchapterretreats.guru, along with other resources and how to make and keep in contact with us. I look forward to you joining me next time when I'll be talking to Sue Gray about how sudden illness drove her into a major change of direction and a better life.